I'm joined by the fabulous Nelly Attar. Nelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I was just terrified because I've never been up on an 8,000 meter peak. I know how dangerous it is. Would you say marriage is the biggest risk you've taken?
It's a calculated one.
There's a 1 out of 4 chance that you're not going to come back from this mountain. More people have been to outer space than had done K2.
When you're standing on the top of the highest peak in the world, what is that like?
Everest was overwhelming, terrifying. I was so worried about frostbite. People stole my oxygen bottles that were cached up there, which is your life. And so many people had died the day before and that same day. And so you see their bodies up there, and I've never seen dead bodies in my life.
What's the biggest risk you've taken so far?
Opening a dance studio in Saudi at a time when female gym licensing didn't exist. Music was not allowed to be played in public spaces. I didn't realize I was taking that risk.
So what's your message to advertisers if they're watching?
Call me.
Love it. Today's guest is Nelly Attar. Nelly is the first Arab woman to summit K2 back in 2022. She's an extreme sports athlete, she's a coach, and she's a sports entrepreneur. Having spent most of her life in Saudi, Nelly has been breaking stereotypes from a very early age, focusing a lot of her efforts on helping women in Saudi have access to fitness and sport. She even launched Saudi Arabia's first ever dance studio called Move. She's done TED Talks, she's climbed over 30 different peaks, including Everest, and has won numerous awards along the way. It's fair to say that Nelly has a lot of energy. Let's get into it.
I'm Nelly Attar. I was born and raised in Saudi. I love movement. Everything to do with movement, it teaches you so much about yourself. Up until June 2022, only 370 people have summited K2, 18 of which are women, and 0 of which are from the Arab region. I'm Nelly Attar, and I'm the first Arab woman to summit K2.
This Lebanese Saudi woman went from battling crippling anxiety attacks to becoming the first Arab to conquer K2, one of the deadliest mountains on earth. Meet Nelly Attar, the founder of Move, a sports and wellness company.
I'm passionate about life. And so I try different things, and I've been doing that ever since I was a kid.
Nelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Nelly, I wasn't expecting you to be wearing such a formal outfit. I mean, I had this image of, you've been hiking, you've been trekking, you've been climbing, you've been doing all kinds of things, but you're wearing a very formal outfit to the show. What's going on?
Well, I journaled today saying that this podcast is going to be fantastic.
Okay.
So I wanted to feel fantastic.
I love it. Well, you look fabulous. You look fabulous. But in my mind, I had this image of this mountaineer coming through with the backpack on and, with a thermos flask, which, by the way, I can see you've got a thermos flask there.
Yes.
Love it. On script. Talk to me a little bit about your mug.
Okay.
You've got 2, I see.
Yes, I have 2 mugs. You did ask for me to select my favorite mug.
Yep.
This is my favorite mug, appearance-wise. I've taken it to the highest mountains in the world, but the funny story is I've actually never used this mug.
Okay.
So it just takes
Except now.
Except now. Yes, it's clean. It just takes up space in my bag, but this is what I end up using.
Okay.
Because it just maintains it maintains the temperature of the water, and so this is what I take up with me to the summit, and I end up using this as my mug. But it smells really bad now, honestly, because it just smells like all sorts of teas, and I feel like it's khalas.
So how many years have you been drinking out of that bad boy?
For the last 3 years, I've been taking it to all my climbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what, 30 odd peaks that you've done, give or take?
I mean, I use this on 8,000 meter peaks, not on smaller mountains. And so it's made its way to 4 of the 8,000 meter peaks.
My God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. By the way, I'm stealing that. It's going to go on my mantelpiece over there.
Yes. As long as you don't open it, please.
As long as I don't drink out of it.
Yes.
So that has a lot of stories, I'm guessing, and you must have a lot of stories.
You can see the dents,
Oh my goodness.
right?
So
And like the scratches and the scrapes and the old stickers. So yeah, there's my old sponsor as well. So
Is that Batil?
Batil, yeah, they're my
What's the-
sponsor in K2.
Okay, wow. So when you look at that thermos, what kind of memories does it bring back to you?
I'm smiling. It makes me happy.
Are you ready to give it up? Are you ready?
I am.
You sure?
Yeah, of course. The way I approach things is, once they serve their time, honestly, I just thank it. Thank you for serving me. Thank you for being a great thermos.
Yeah.
And now I make space for other
Yeah.
thermoses.
But you're best known, I guess, for being the first Arab female to scale. Scale? Do we say scale or climb? What do we say?
Either or.
Either or, K2. So that was back in 2022, right?
Yes.
So how did that feel? And breaking such a big landmark?
That sense of achievement and that sense of accomplishment stays with me for a short while.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes part of me. So now when you ask me, the answer is different than if you had asked me back then, close in time to K2, when it felt surreal and it was just something like unbelievable and I couldn't believe that I had done K2. Now it's part of who I am. And it just feels, it feels like any big milestone in my life, I guess.
Yeah.
The climb itself was amazing. The climb itself was one of my favorites because it took so much out of me. And because it was like the story behind K2 was my dad took me on my first climbs. My dad took me on my first mountain, Kenya, to Mount Kenya when I was 17. And so that's how it all started for me. And then I climbed Everest in 2019 and my dad was so proud.
Of course.
My dad was even happier than I was. And I'll never forget when I came back from Everest and we were celebrated in Lebanon, that look on my dad's face. And the last week that I spent with my dad, Allah yarhamu, he passed away. One of the things he said to me was, I wish I could scream that you had done Everest. I want to scream it to everyone. We're swimming in Movenpick. And I'm like, Dad, no, please. Like, no one needs to know. You know, it's okay. And so when he passed away, the only thing that gave me some sort of inspiration or some sort of excitement and like the darkest year of my life was to think of a climb, another big climb, something that would help me climb through life again, something that would be transformative for me. And that was K2.
That's a great metaphor. I mean, and doing it, you must be constantly feeling what your dad must have been feeling, knowing what you're doing, right? It must have sort of been back in the back of your mind.
It's like, I'm making my dad proud, I'm making my dad proud. And that was my inspiration. And, you know, K2 is one of the most dangerous mountains in the world. And so whoever I would share this plan with, especially my close friends, they'd be like, you're crazy, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, there's a 1 out of 4 chance that you're not going to come back from this mountain.
Yeah.
More people have been to outer space than had done K2. And I don't have the experience. I mean, Everest, yes, is the highest mountain, but technically it's not the most difficult. It's actually one of the easier, 8,000 meters.
I mean, even I've done Everest.
Oh, great.
Not really. I did base camp. That's about as far as I got.
Okay.
By the way, that's about the similarity. That's where that ends, by the way, between me and you.
I mean, still, we have some sort of overlap.
There we go.
Yeah, so I didn't have the experience to do K2, nor the skills, nor the fitness.
Yeah.
But then that's what helped me that year. It was cathartic for me. All the training, all the suffering was just a release for me, also with my grief. And then K2 was just like showtime.
Yeah.
And it
helps you channel everything, right? I'm guessing.
Helped me channel everything, even spiritually. Like you're maneuvering in terrain you're pretty much like moving between life and death.
Yeah.
But then that's where I think I operate at my best. And K2 for me was so much more than a climb. The climb itself was beautiful. The climb itself was so hard, which I love because it challenged me in so many ways. It made me a much better climber. But then also what that meant for me. And then when I got to the summit is when I realized that I had made history because there were other Arabs on K2 that season.
Yeah.
So I wasn't the first to climb. I was the first to summit K2.
Okay.
And then when I got to the summit, we were the first people on the summit. So I just dropped my bag and I cried for 30 minutes.
Wow.
I just cried and cried and cried. And I couldn't believe, like, this is much bigger than me. This is much bigger than just my family. This is much bigger than, you know, why I set out to do K2. I made history for Lebanon. I made history for the Middle East.
Yeah. So, I have so many questions to ask you. And look, I've watched you on other shows. I've seen your TED Talk. I've seen other bits and pieces. And I know how big a role your dad has played in your life. I don't want to go into it too much just yet, if that's okay. And on that note, I actually give my guests an opportunity for a safe word. So if there's a question they don't want to answer, if it's too deep, too personal, or too alarming, you have an opportunity to get out of it. So what is your safe word, Nelly?
Batata.
Batata. Amazing. It's a great word, by the way. Do you like batata?
Yeah.
Are you a mitli kind of girl, or do you like them boiled, or do you like them like grilled, or do you like them baked, or how do you like your potatoes?
I like them fried.
Okay.
With ketchup.
Okay.
But how do I eat them? Grilled and boiled.
Got to be healthy, man. You got to be healthy.
For the most part, yeah.
So your dad passed away. It was in COVID.
And it was because of COVID.
And it was because of COVID. And you've gone on record many times saying that was by far the hardest year of your life. But your life was taking a very different kind of route before then. And it kind of started to take a slightly different type of route after then, if that's okay with you to sort of explain. You've done a lot for women, specifically in Saudi, right? You were basically, for those who don't know her story, you helped to create, if you like, access for the first time, women to be able to access sports, do fitness, and you pioneered and you sort of trailblazed your way to helping women have that kind of access. But since then, since your father's passing, you've had a slightly different type of focus. Is that fair to say?
100%. And I kind of want to go back to that now.
Well, back to pre-COVID.
Yeah, back to community and working with women again. I think I've had to pivot for personal reasons, and I need a change. Like, I remember when Dad passed away, I was like, I need change.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting change. It was a buildup over the years, but then that was my catalyst to be like, okay, I'm ready for it. And because I felt like I was stripped away from everything I know.
Yeah.
And then there was COVID as well, so it really affected my business. And I was just like, what's the worst that could happen? It's easier now for me to make these changes when already everything in my life is different
Yeah.
than later down the line when I start to anchor myself again. So I closed Move. That was really, really hard for me to let go of. But I'm like,
It was your baby.
yeah, it was my baby. And then I started to come here. I started to move back and forth between the UAE and Saudi.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started to also climb professionally. Like, I'm like, I want climbing. I want to be a professional athlete. I love sports.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I'm in my 30s. Most athletes retire in their 30s. But you know what? I always say dream big. No dream is big enough. So this is my dream. And let me see if that helps me, and let me see what I can do with this. And I gave myself like a little time frame, like 2-3 years of doing that. And then I want to move on to something else. And in that time, obviously, explore different spaces and sports. And
Yeah.
I also wanted to move out of Saudi because I've only ever worked in Saudi. So I wanted to expand my horizons at work. And the sports landscape here is a lot more developed. So the idea I had is come to the UAE, see where it takes you. You can always move back and then take what you've learned. Or, you move on to something else. And I ended up climbing so many mountains in the last
Look, it's incredible.
3-4 years.
It's nuts, man. It's
Now-
nuts. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't expecting you to be showing up like this. That's why it's very nice, but I had a completely different kind of image in my mind. I had Raham Muharrak on the show in season 2. How big or small is the climbing community, if you like, in the Middle East, particularly amongst women?
I would say, so the hiking community is expanding, which is so lovely to see.
Yeah.
Even the trail running community, so like just that community of being outdoors and training outdoors has been increasing a lot, exponentially.
Yeah.
But then the climbing, when you're talking about climbing, a bit more serious, it's small. So we pretty much all know each other.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about 8,000 meter peaks, it's like 2 of us or 3 of
How
us.
competitive is it?
It's quite competitive because it's only 3 of us girls.
Who's the other one?
Nadira Al-Harthi,
Okay.
who I love very dearly. She's one of my closest friends.
Okay.
So it's like healthy competition.
Okay. Who's better?
We're different.
Very politically correct. I
No,
love.
honestly, we're very
Okay.
different.
You can be different as climbers.
So we've climbed together as well. Yeah, we're different as climbers. So like Nadira is so good at being very consistent with her pace,
Okay.
very consistent throughout the climbs. I'm just very fiery, which also can burn me out.
What do you mean by
And-
fiery? Like you attack the mountain, or what? Is
Like
that?
I like to move fast,
Okay.
but then it can burn me out.
I see.
And I think she's my yin, and I'm her yang.
Okay.
In a way, like we've climbed several mountains together, and I mean, I climbed Everest with her on K2. We're together,
Yeah.
and we're both like, we want you to be the first.
Yeah.
She's like, if you're the first or I'm the first, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And we've done several peaks together in the Alps, and I just saw her in Nepal. And then there's also Asma Thani. She's a phenomenal climber as well, and she's done a lot of the 8,000 meter peaks. I just saw her now on Makalu. It was really, really nice to share that with her. So I think, I think there's actually like really nice sort of energy between us. And what I love is that we're 3 women.
Mm.
In a male dominant sport. 1 out of 10 climbers
Yeah.
is female.
Yeah.
But for Arabs, we happen to just lead in the sport. So
So how important is that for you, as an individual, to fly the women's flag, especially in a male-dominated sport?
it's quite important. It's one of the sources of inspiration for me.
Has it become more important? Did you set out always because you had this sort of in the back of your mind, especially with what you're doing in Saudi as well, right? So it's kind of been a consistent theme for you.
It's become more important for me. I think
Okay.
when I started climbing, I didn't know where this was going to go. I never thought I'd climb big mountains. When I started 10 years ago, I remember I was borrowing I was borrowing stuff from my friend, and she had a book about Everest, and I'm like, who would do that? Like,
Yeah.
why? Why would anyone want to do that? 4 years later, I was on
Yeah.
top of Everest.
Yeah. By the way, I asked Raha a very similar question, but I want to ask you, when you're standing on the top of the highest peak in the world,
Peaks.
highest peaks, I'm talking about Everest in particular.
Okay,
I'm talking about Everest, but
okay,
you're at the top of the highest peak in the world.
okay.
What is that like?
So that's why I say peaks, because each mountain has been completely different. Everest was overwhelming, terrifying. I was so worried about frostbite. There were so many people.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the typical summit for me.
Okay. You didn't have that euphoric moment.
No, prior to Everest, all these other mountains, when I get to the summit, it's a very emotional moment. Yeah, you have to push so hard to get to the summit. Just to give you some perspective, the summit day is usually the longest day because you move up in increments just to make sure that your body is adapting to the altitude. But the summit day is like, okay, one big push, you go up to the summit, usually the most dangerous day, and then you come back down. You don't come back down all the way, you come back down to a certain point, and then over the next few days, you start descending. But most accidents happen on the way down because people get so tired on the way up to the summit. And so the summit days are usually the longest on any climb, any hike. Everest, I was just terrified because I've never been up on an 8,000 meter peak. I know how dangerous it is. But like anything above 8,000 meters is death zone. Your body doesn't adapt. You know, your body starts to shut down and basically your cells are dying minute by minute. Yes, we're using supplemental oxygen that prolongs the period, but you're still in a very, very dangerous, hostile environment. And anything could go wrong. Anything could happen. And nothing lives up there. Nothing survives up there. And no one can rescue you up there. So it's just all these things that you have to keep in mind. And it was so out of my comfort zone. I remember I was just absolutely terrified. So I get to the summit. No, I'm not happy. My summit picture, I'd even take off my mask. I was frowning. Couldn't even smile. I was terrified. That was my summit photo on Everest.
Crazy.
But it looks like I look like
We're gonna find that photo. We're gonna post it on Luca's Inside Track.
I feel like I look like a monster. But
You couldn't.
yeah, no, but I like it because like my curls are frozen. Anyways, that day was terrifying for me. And I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if my body was going to be okay. I've never felt my extremities this cold. There were dead people on the way. 16 people died that day on, you know that picture of like the queue on Everest from 2019? We moved up the second day. It was almost as bad. And so many people had died the day before and that same day. And so you see their bodies up there. And I've never seen dead bodies in my life. And I
They're
just saw,
literally on the pathway.
yeah, you have to walk over them. I even tripped on one of them.
It's unbelievable.
And so like, how do you just keep going? And so like, there were so many mixed emotions in me. I was terrified. I felt guilty for being there for my family because that could happen to me. I was just super, super, super on alert. There were people that were like, I remember there were so many sick people along the way as well that had cerebral edema, that were completely out of it.
What is that? Sorry.
Swelling in the brain from altitude, and then you just completely lose it.
Yeah.
And so like, really, it just feels like a war zone. I don't know how to describe it. That's what Everest felt like for me. And I just wanted to come back down. I was happy to see the girls with me. Nadira is one of them, the Omani girl who I spoke of. Mona, Joyce, we were like a bunch of Arab girls, and there was a documentary being made of us, like the first Arabs. I'm like, great, we're all there. Okay, I want to go back. K2 is different. K2, I spent 1 hour on the summit. That was one of my favorite moments in life.
Your whole face has changed.
Yeah.
Everything just changed.
And so when you say top of the world, 8,000 meters, it's been a very different experience for me on each one. Kanchenjunga, I just came back from Kanchenjunga about a week ago.
Where is that? Sorry.
The third highest peak in the world.
Where is it?
It's on the borders of Nepal and India.
Okay.
And that, for me, I cried because I just climbed 2 8,000 meter peaks back to back, and Kanchenjunga was not planned. So
Just thought, why not?
why not?
Go for a little stroll.
And then it was harder than K2. I didn't realize it was harder than K2. And then every day that we moved up, every day was like, oh, we don't know if the summit day is going to be okay. The summit weather looks different. So even when we're up at Camp 3, which is almost 7,000 meters, we weren't sure if we're going to make it to the summit. So there was so much uncertainty on this mountain. But for me, I was like, keep moving up. As long as the weather permits that you move up, because if the weather day looks okay, we're up there and we can make it. But if we don't make progress every day, if the weather is fine, then we're not going to be able to catch the day. So we made it up. The weather was shit. Sorry, excuse my French.
It's okay.
It was the worst weather I've experienced on an 8,000 meter peak. But you know what? I told myself I want Kanchenjunga to be a challenge for me, and that it was. And so the summit, they took so much out of us. It was just so long. It was a 15-hour round trip. Actually, it wasn't so bad, but I didn't have water. I didn't even have a sip of water because I didn't want to stop.
Did you have your thermos with you?
Yeah, it was useless. Didn't even have water. I had Mars or Snickers. I don't know which one. I forgot. It was in my chest and it was frozen, so I was trying to fight with it as I was eating it. But I just didn't want to stop. The only time I stopped, which was I think once, I changed my oxygen bottle just once, and we kept my oxygen bottle on a very low flow because some people stole my oxygen bottles that were cached up there, which is your life.
Yeah.
And we only came to find out.
That's like literally, it's like trying to kill someone.
Yeah.
That's it's a test of murder in some way. If you're stealing someone's oxygen.
100%. And so 2 of my bottles were gone. And so I only had 2 bottles.
You never found out who did it?
No, but then I was like, like at that moment I was thinking, I can't do anything about the situation. The only thing I can do is decrease the flow in my oxygen, on my oxygen system and try to just power through with a very low flow.
Yeah.
Because like if it's a low flow, then it will last longer.
Nanny, this is a whole new world.
Yeah.
This is a completely different world to what pretty much everyone on the planet is aware of. Do you feel sometimes when you come back to Earth that you're a little bit lonely in the sense that you only have 2 or 3 or 4 other people in your life that know what you've been through and that no one else will ever really truly understand what it's like to scale all these peaks?
I feel like I live in a parallel universe and I've made peace with it. Because after K2, for example, I felt a very big dip. I felt like I went through a massive dip. Of just like, because I was preparing for something that took so much out of me for a year. And then it's like, all of a sudden you snap out of all of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Like people don't understand. No one will understand. Not even my family. I just think my family hasn't even been to Nepal, which is like my second home. I've been there 7 times. My family doesn't even know what it's like for me to be up there and what I do and how much I suffer and how amazing it is as well. And so I feel like it's a parallel universe because I spend a lot of time there when we climb.
Yeah.
I'm there for 2-3 months out of the year.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. But now I found this balance of like, I know every year I'm going to go spend 2-3 months. I have my whole life there. But it's like a really nice balance for me because I come back appreciating everything again, missing everyone. And then I spend so much time here. I lose inspiration. Then it's time.
It's like you need to recharge.
Yeah, it's time
in both ways. You need to recharge to sort of come back and rest a little bit, but also recharge your spirit and your soul by climbing.
Absolutely.
So,
and sorry, just to go back, Kanchenjunga summit, super cold. It was about -40 or -30.
Wow.
But I've come a long way from Everest because it was much colder than Everest, and I was actually just wearing normal gloves. I wasn't even wearing mittens. And I'm like, I know my fingers are freaking cold, but I trust my hands. I know now that I will not get frostbite. Alhamdulillah, like, you still have to be cautious, but I know what
your body is capable of doing.
Yes, and I know where it's the turning point. If I still feel my fingers and they're really painful and cold, it's fine. But if they start to go numb, then this is where like I have to then I have to wear my mittens. But Kanchenjunga summit was okay. Makalu was phenomenal. Makalu, we summited at night because we moved so fast. We were up there at night. And then there was Lhotse. Lhotse was very windy. So every 8,000 meter peak was different for me. And that's it.
Crazy, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, but no, don't be sorry. It's unbelievable. Look, I could spend hours talking to you about each and every summit. But I do want to hear some of your insights because I'm sure you have some unbelievable insights, not just from your climbing days, your current climbing days, but everything that you've sort of been through and what you've set up also in Saudi. So this is your chance now to take charge of the show, Nelly. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Take a ball out and let us talk about it. Hi everyone, I really hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Throughout my career, I've met a lot of people that have anxiety when it comes to public speaking. If you're someone that has that anxiety or nervousness and has always wanted to be more confident in public speaking, but you're also not sure where to go or how to start, the good news is I might be able to help. I have 20 years experience working in corporate communication. I'm a former regional CEO and I've helped to win over 80 different clients through new business pitches. With so many online trainings based on theory, I wanted to share what's helped me in the business world. I've launched my own training program called Master Pitch. The 7-module course covers everything you need to know, whether it's learning how to really understand the audience, how to deliver real impact, or how to effectively storytell, I've got it covered. With practical tips and real examples, you can immediately start turning that anxiety into confidence. Also, in a world of AI, there's never been a more important time to invest in your personal brand and in developing your public speaking. For more information, go to lucaallam.com or drop me an email at info@lucaallam.com. Right, let's get back to the episode.
Sports and fitness success. More about the physiological or psychological? It's definitely both.
No, okay.
No.
Time out.
Okay.
Time out. I know it has both elements. For you, what is more important?
Psychological.
The psychological.
Yeah.
Why is the psychological more important?
Because when I'm in a good mood
Yeah.
and I'm in control of my mind, I fly. And it's the same body. And when I'm in a bad mood or when my mind takes over me in a negative way, oh my God, it affects my performance.
Yeah.
I'm able to do all the things I do, not because I am the strongest person in the world. I'm far from that. But I have a very strong mind. So
Yeah, I can see that. So what makes you energized? Like what gets you in that zone? And what takes you out of that? Like what really affects you? Both positively and negatively.
What energizes me? Reminding myself of the reasons why I'm there. That really energizes me. And then I practice gratitude so much on mountains. Like this is one of the reasons why I love mountains, because I'm in my head so much. So it's a really good opportunity for me to train my mind in a way that I want my mind to function. And then I think of Allah and I think of my family and I think of all the things that I want to achieve, and I'm suffering. So I'm like, I'm actually in the process of achieving something I want to achieve, and I'll achieve everything I want to achieve. And it's mantras that I keep repeating. So this is when it's good. When it's bad, it's like, oh, I'm in pain. I hate this. I can't wait to end. How long is it going to take to get to the camp? And it could be hours. It could be another 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so if I'm already trying to think of the camp, it's like a very dreadful process. Then I'm no longer present. And then any little thing starts to affect me. Oh, I feel my harness. Oh, this is hurting me. This is bothering me. I can't wait to finish. I'm hungry. All these feelings or physiological changes in my body start to affect me negatively.
Yeah. So how do you get yourself out of that? Like what's your mental kind of trick or switch that you turn on to say, you know what, forget about the injuries, forget about not feeling like it. I'm gonna pile through, I'm gonna crack on.
When I'm aware of it.
Yeah, when you're aware of it.
So when I'm aware of it,
yeah,
I try to shift into something else. I'm like, okay, great. I feel this way. Now let's think of something that energizes me, Nelly.
Because you must have days, like you said, you're just like, you're climbing up a mountain. You're like, you know what, I just can't be asked. I can't be asked to keep on climbing.
Of course.
So,
it's mine is like, it's
like you're looking around, I mean, you've got dead bodies next to you. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but you still carry on going. I mean, you're going through the most amounts of physical strain, mental strain any human could ever go through.
But it's not just mountains for me. It's sports. It's sports. Like I train when I'm fasting. I train at 2 a.m. during Ramadan. It's not just about the climbs. It's my mindset towards sports.
Yeah.
And this is why I love sports so much, because sports is uncomfortable.
It's extreme sports. It's not your typical sports of, you know, let's play basketball or let's play football or paddle. Like, do you play paddle?
No, it's an unsport for me.
You're an extreme sports person. You're not, you know, so for many of us, we can't relate to you. We admire people like you so much, but we can't relate. Like a football player, for example, has 10 other players with him on the team.
Yeah.
Right? You don't. You got you.
Yeah.
You got you and your mind and yourself and all the different personalities that sit within, you know, between your ears. So
it's taken years. I wasn't like this like 10 years ago. This is what people don't realize. You train your body, you train your mind. Every time you want to give up while you train, but you do one more rep, one more set, you're training your mind. Every time you don't want to train, but you head out of the door and you train, you're training your mind. Every time.
It's a great insight.
Yeah, honestly, you're bored, but then you find a way to continue while training. You're training your mind. And so it's not like I have this, you know, strong mindset by default. No, it's all these years of training and not giving up and pushing myself and pushing myself. That one extra rep, that one extra minute. I literally do that every time. If I have 10 pull-ups today, I'll do 11 just to tell myself that.
Were you the middle child? Were you a middle child?
Yeah, I am. Of course.
Do you think they had some role to do with it or nothing to do with it at all?
Maybe.
Yeah. I've met so many people like you and I've asked them that question. Like, yeah, I'm a middle child.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. This constant need to prove, to outdo, to compete, to strive.
Perhaps.
My wife is also, by the way, a middle child. So I see a lot of similarities.
Are you a middle child?
No, I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
the baby. I'm the spoiled one, apparently.
really?
That's my labeling. So if the middle child are the sort of the upstarts, and I'm the youngest. They call the youngest usually the most spoiled of the
Are you the most
bunch.
spoiled?
Well, I can't answer that, but you have to ask my parents. But I don't think I am. I don't think so.
Okay.
You can tell me later, off camera, perhaps.
Okay.
Maybe I'll use my batata safe word on you.
Okay.
Let's do another question. But that was a great insight. I love that, Nelly.
Only those who risk going far can find out how far they can go. What will you risk?
So what's the context? Why am I asking this question?
Because it's my dad's favorite quote.
Yeah.
And I live by that now. And it's so funny because my dad used to think that I told him this quote. I'm like, Dad, I never said this quote to you. But like, I guess this is what he associated with me. Like, my daughter always takes risks.
Yeah.
Whether it's a dance studio, whether it's changing my careers. I mean, I studied psychology and then I worked as a therapist for 4 years. And then I switched into sports. But then even in the world of sports, I went from being an entrepreneur and a business owner to then being an entrepreneur and a professional athlete. Like, I continue to pivot and change in my life, and I changed countries. Anyways, what will I risk? I think I'm willing to risk a lot for...
What does that look like? What does that mean to you?
Always taking chances. If there's something that I'm curious about, I lean into it. Even if it doesn't make sense for me, I lean into it. And I'm someone that's very driven by passion. I'm someone that's very driven by purpose. So I'll continue to take risks for me to live by that and for me to find answers. I don't have all the answers. I actually don't. And perhaps this is why I keep trying different things and I keep traveling the world. And but I think no risk, no reward. And most of the good things in my life have come from risk.
What's the biggest risk you've taken so far?
I would say climbing is one of them. A lot of the climbs I've done, they're very, very risky. But perhaps opening a dance studio in Saudi at a time when female gym licensing didn't exist. Music was not allowed to be played in public spaces. I didn't realize I was taking that risk. I didn't actually want to open a business. It was just a warehouse in my stepdad's office building. And he was like, Nelly, why don't you use the space to start teaching free classes? Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sports more accessible to women. But it was a risk on so many levels because it was a mixed office building. There was men in the office building. We had to wait for them to leave for us to go in. I also took a risk on a personal note. Like, am I going to embarrass myself? Would people come? Will people like my classes? And at the time, I guess I didn't realize how much that was going to change my life. And I'll say maybe one of the biggest risks was to start dance classes in the first place. Because had I not taken that step, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that risk, that small risk, changed my life. So it is a big risk.
You know, there's an idea that I have. If it's in your own hands, it's less of a risk. But the minute you start relying on other people, then all of a sudden you start moving away from being under pressure to deliver yourself to being in a more of a stressful environment because you can no longer control the outcome. So you launching, for example, your own studio, your own dance studio, you can physically, create that, but you can't make people come. So the element of risk is based on other people's actions or inactions. You climbing a mountain is risky, but you're in control of that to some degree. You know what I mean? Yes, there'll be weather conditions will be awful, 1, 2, 3, but you're physically, it's in your hands, literally, to climb and scale any mountain. So, you know, a lot of people say the riskiest thing is getting married because what you're doing is you're building a life with someone else for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Is that something that you would entertain? Do you want to get married?
Of course I do. And perhaps I'm not married because I do feel like it's a big risk. I acknowledge that, of course. And I think your partner will have so much influence on your energy and your life. And so for me, it's so important that I get married to the right person for me. And so however long that takes, I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
I'd rather not marry the wrong person.
But what if they're not into extreme sports?
Good for them.
Is that okay?
It's okay. Yeah, of course
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay.
We have our own lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know a guy. I'll talk to him. Have a conversation off camera. Let's do another ball on that
I
note.
have a question for you.
Okay, hit me.
Would you say marriage is the biggest risk you've taken?
It's a calculated one because you know everything you can about a person before you propose. You get to meet them, you know their family, you spend some time together. But how do you know what they're going to be like in 20 years' time? How do you know what kind of person they might evolve into? Maybe they become or have different types of interests. So you're constantly projecting into the future what that could look like. So that's why it's a risk. It's not a risk based on the information that you have today. It's based on what's going to happen in the future and the uncertainty of that.
It's true.
But make as informed a decision as you can based on the information that you have. That's all you can do.
What would be your advice to me?
So
And all the single people out there that want to get married.
So I had opportunity. I've had a situation in my life, many situations where I thought this could be the right girl for me. It could not be the right girl for me. I knew that Russia was the right girl for the simple reason, if we couldn't have children, because you can't assume you can have kids, right? It's in God's hands, right?
That's true.
I would still be happy. And that's why I knew. I wanted to be with someone that as a person I liked, that I enjoyed their time, their company. And, you know, there's obviously attraction there, but at the fundamental, it's about, if I was to spend the rest of my life with just me and this person, would I be happy? Would it be enough? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely marry that person. Don't marry someone because you think you want to have a family with them. Marry the person because they're enough for you.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's all right.
I'll keep that in mind.
Great question.
Yeah. No, great insight. Complacency or fear? What's the bigger blocker for growth? Oh, 100% complacency.
Is it?
It's one of the things I address on my talks. Of course, it's not fear.
Not fear?
It's not fear that can kill you on a mountain. It's complacency. If you take things for granted, if you're overly confident, this is where it's actually dangerous. Fear keeps you grounded. Fear keeps you alert.
But doesn't it block your growth? Doesn't it tell you that little voice in the back of your head saying you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or, you know, something bad's going to happen? That stops people, a lot of people, from wanting to do what they really want to do.
They allow it to stop them.
But that's fear. That's what fear is.
They allow it to stop them, but they don't have to. So the way I see fear is, yes, it's there. And yes, it can be crippling. And yes, it's a very unpleasant feeling. But it's such a great feeling when I overcome that, when I work through that, when I don't let that control me and I control it.
Yeah.
Of course I feel fear. I have a fear of heights and I climb the highest peaks in the world.
Me too. Yeah, we have something else in common. There we go.
And you know the best feeling?
Yeah.
The best feeling is seeing how that feeling has changed over the years for me. When I used to see a drop off, oh my God, I'd be paralyzed.
Yeah.
But because I've continued to work through that, I never gave into it. Because who's going to do it for me? Who's going to cross that ladder on Everest? And who's going to be able to...
There's a ladder?
Oh, there's so many ladders. On all of these mountains, there's so many ladders. And who's going to rappel down for me? I have to do it. And through doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, it's so much more comfortable for me now. I still feel fear. And that's good because it just reminds me to be careful. But what I want to say is fear is a normal emotion to have. It's a good emotion to have. But it's important how you manage it. You can't allow for fear to control you. And if you surrender to fear, then you allow it to control you. And so like one of the things that I enjoy on a mountain is to feel fear and to challenge fear.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, my legs are shaking. I'm so scared. Yeah. I don't want to look down, but I have to cross the ladder. And so then this is when I practice all these positive things. And honestly, it's a great opportunity to strengthen my mindset.
Yeah.
But complacency is what's dangerous. Complacency, if you're over...
On a mountain.
But then even in real life...
In real life, 9 to 5 jobs, right? So you've got people who are sitting there. They're in their 30s or in their 40s. They're looking around going, is this really the life that I have? Is this really what I want to be doing? What's stopping them from growing or taking that next step or trying to deliver on their dreams? Is it fear or is it complacency?
I think maybe it's a bit of both.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both.
But the reality is for you, what's more important is to feel that fear because it will ground you and it will save your life. That fear saves your life. But for other people, that fear will cripple their life.
100%. It humbles me. It keeps me grounded. I mean, I know I'm strong on these mountains, but like when I'm there, by the way, I don't feel strong. I always approach myself as someone that's a bit weaker.
Yeah.
Because you never know what happens. And because I'm afraid. And I think this is what keeps me safe on these mountains.
You're climbing.
Yeah. And like...
Incredible mountains.
I've turned around on several mountains.
Have you?
Yeah, I've turned around on Annapurna, the world's most dangerous mountain. That's one of the 8,000ers. Last year, we were 500 meters away from the summit. We turned around.
Oh, wow.
Because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And not afraid. and I mean, I was so afraid that we might die, but like this is what helped me make the right decision.
Okay, take a step back. When you first started climbing, you call your mom and your dad. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. I feel like doing 1, 2, 3. What was their reaction as an Arab parent?
It was over the years, right? So it started with smaller.
The first one.
They're like, okay, go have fun.
Really?
Yeah, Kilimanjaro. And then I went and
I love how Kili is a small one.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then I went and did Elbrus.
Just a little straw.
No, it's not. And then I went and no, it's not. It's a beautiful hike and it's high altitude.
It's like this for a long time, and then at the end it's like that, right? It goes super steep.
Like this, and then summit days are always like the longest. And then the second year I went and did Elbrus in Russia. I didn't know what I signed up to because I took the northern route. It's a lot harder than the commercial route, and I threw myself in the deep end. I was not experienced, but it's the mindset. I kept going.
Yeah.
And we were 15 people, only 5 of us had summited. I'm like, oh my God, how did I do this? So then I was really inspired to do another one. And then I went and climbed the highest peak in South America. So then as the challenges got harder and bigger.
So you never had that resistance at the end?
I mean, they do worry a bit.
Yeah.
My dad did tell me once not to go climb a mountain. And like, it's just surreal because that was around COVID.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go see him for a week and then go climb that mountain. And he was like, listen, don't go. I have a bad feeling in my heart that something is going to happen. And if anything happens to you, I'll die after you. You did Everest. That's it. Like, it's enough. Please don't go climb that mountain. My dad ended up passing away in that period. So when I went to Lebanon, I didn't stay for a week. I stayed for 3 weeks. And it's crazy how he had a feeling that something was going to happen. And so I'd like to think that maybe he had a feeling that, I needed to be with him, and I was. But apart from that, no, my mom was so funny. My mom was like, go do them, like told her I was going to do K2. She's like, yeah, you did Everest. It's the highest, so you're fine on K2. She doesn't know that K2 is a lot more dangerous, a lot harder. But then,
I mean, to be fair, it's like, it's not many people would know that, you know what I mean? I guess. And
my sisters did though. Okay. My sisters, there's a lot of resistance from them.
Yeah.
They don't like what I do. And every time I tell them I'm going to do a mountain, they're like, khalas. Like, khalas. I came back now from Makalu and Kanchenjunga, the 5th and the 3rd highest peaks in the world. It's the first time I do 2 8,000 meter peaks together. My sisters didn't even ask me one question. Didn't even ask me how was it. When I saw them, they're just talking about the house and the family, and I'm like, no one even asked to see pictures.
The thing is, it becomes the norm. You become the norm. You're creating that kind of pattern where it's no longer new for them. They've kind of accepted it.
But they're over it as well.
Look, I remember, like the first episode I did as on a podcast, my family all over it, But then as the more you do, they don't ask you, how was it? How did it feel? Do you know what I mean? So it just becomes the norm. First day of any new job. How was it? How's your boss?
Yeah, it's true.
After the first few months, like, shut up, move on.
No, it's
you know what I mean? So I understand. So it's not about you. It's just about us as humans. We like the new. We crave the new. When it becomes the standard, then it's like it's no longer informational.
It's true. And to go back to complacency, I just want to say my dad, Allah yarham, used to always say this: غلطة الشاطر بتسوى مليون. Which means like the mistake of someone who's like really experienced costs $1 million. And this is something that always resonates in my mind when I'm climbing, because a lot of the times I'm tempted to cut corners. Like we clip onto ropes, just to make sure that if you slip, you don't slip off the mountain entirely.
Kind of important.
And sometimes I'm like, I'm just not in the mood to like clip onto this anchor. Like I'll skip a few anchors, but that's how people die.
That's complacency.
And exactly. And so that's why I say complacency is very dangerous, not only on mountains, but in business settings, in real life settings. If you take your life for granted, if you take things for granted,
100%. I was just thinking also driving. When you first learn to drive a car, right? You're super scared. Yeah. So you're checking your mirrors, you're constantly looking everywhere, you indicate like 5 minutes before you have to make a turning. You're overly scared, okay? But as you get older, as a driver, you become more experienced and you become more complacent. And typically that's when most of the accidents happen. So it's that complacency that does actually kill.
Exactly. Looking at your phone, not paying attention to the
if you're a Lebanese girl, sometimes in Beirut, which I've seen, there's the makeup, there's the coffee, there's the driving.
And there's drinking in Beirut.
It's
drinking drive-thru.
Everything goes. It's crazy.
Okay, next.
Let's do it, man. Let's power through.
What's harder, climbing mountains or creating visual content? Oh, viral content. Creating viral content.
It's hard, huh?
It's hard, not because it's hard. I think I have so many creative ideas. It's the execution for me. I have endless lists of like creative ideas, crazy ideas on mountains. But for me to actually execute them, this is what's hard. So I would say climbing mountains.
So climbing mountains is harder, or creating viral.
No, sorry, creating viral content
That's like-
because I need to do it.
So what are you trying to get out of your social media content? What is the purpose of it? Like, what sits behind it as your driving?
There's different purposes. I think one, it connects to my work. The more outreach I have, the more opportunities I get. It's really linked to my work in sports. Because the more people that see my content or come across my content, the more speaking engagements I get, the more brand partnership requests I get. So it's like a direct relationship. So one, it's for work. Two, I want to create a positive influence, and I really want to be like a source of inspiration for people to train.
You are.
To move.
Nelly, you are.
I need to do more.
I
of that,
worked
though.
out before you came, man. I was like, I've got to get my steps in.
Amazing. I'd even work out. And then yeah, I just think it's like a means or a medium for my work. It really like links to my work. And then hopefully, inshallah ya Rab, I do plan on opening another, business or community
Nice.
group, and then that's how I reach out to people.
You mentioned advertisers before, getting advertisers on board
Yeah.
as in terms of sponsors. You have been sponsored in the past.
Yeah.
Nike did something with you, but didn't they?
So I worked with Nike. I became their first trainer in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And then I worked with them for like 6 years.
Yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. So what's your message to advertisers if they're watching?
Call me.
Love it. Done. Next.
Really, call me.
No, really, do it.
Yeah. Let's change the world together. Has losing your father changed your journey or maintained your course? No, of course it's changed my journey.
So, but you were doing, okay, so again, going back to what I started with, you were doing your own business in Saudi, okay? COVID happened, and unfortunately your father passed away. And then after that, you sort of, I know COVID played a big role, but also the role of, what happened with your father as well played a big role in deciding how you want to spend your next few years. So, but you were always interested in climbing. You were always interested in trying to pushing yourself, the physical barriers. So did his passing, did it change your course entirely, or did it actually maintain what you were doing because of the beliefs that you and him both had?
It's a really good question. I think a bit of both. So it maintained that love for adventure and outdoors because he really liked that. And he used to really reinforce my activities, my hobbies, my love for sports and movement. But then it also did change the course of my life because I closed my dance studio shortly after. I think that gave me the courage.
But was that because of COVID though, or was that because of him?
A bit of both. Like
Yeah.
COVID was
It was a
the
killer,
opportunity.
killer
No,
business.
but it was the opportunity for me to close my business.
Yeah.
Because it was on my mind for a few years that I wanted to leave Saudi, but I didn't find the opportunity to.
Yeah.
And so COVID, I guess, just gave me the opportunity. And then when Dad passed away, I think that gave me the courage to just be like, I'm going to change my life. And of course, like it changed my life in different ways. Like I used to go to Lebanon every month to see my dad. I haven't been to Lebanon in 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't been to Lebanon in 2 years, but I'm going next week. I'm really excited.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Have fun, but stay safe.
Yeah. And so I think a bit of both to answer your question.
Mhm. When you think about what's coming next for you, how much of that is decided by what you think your dad would approve of versus how much you're doing it for
Bit
you?
of it. And it's not just my dad, it's my mom too.
Okay.
Bless her. My mom is my best friend. I love Mama, Allah yahmiya, and a lot of it has to do with what Mama also approves of and what they would want for me. So they're kind of like my guiding force.
So what do you think your mum wants for you?
She wants the best. She wants me to go really big. She doesn't like me to play small. And I think she thinks I play small. She's not happy. And
What does she want you to do? Just to go to space?
she wants me to open a business. She wants me to become a millionaire. She wants me to find the best husband for me. She wants me to have kids. She wants me to do it all. And I promise, Mom, I will try in the next few years. Promise.
I love that. Look, I think everyone faces some level of personal adversity at some point, whether it's a passing or life-changing moment, and they have a decision to make. Do they continue doing what they were doing beforehand, or do they use that as a sort of a wake-up call to say, you know what, actually, this is what's more important to me, and I'm going to course correct? In your case, it wasn't so much of a massive course correction. It was always there, but maybe
Course amplification.
it's more exactly what I was going to say. It's more of a course amplification, which is beautiful, which means you're always doing what you were supposed to be doing. And what's even better is your parents were fully behind you.
Cool.
A lot of Arabs in this part of the world are doing things that their parents are not fully behind.
No, I know. And my parents are also fully behind me taking my time with marriage, because they were divorced and they've experienced it, and they've experienced being in a marriage that perhaps like they were not compatible for each other.
Yeah.
So my dad and my mom used to always tell me, take your time. Take all the time you need.
100%.
Build your life, build your career, live your life.
Yeah.
And he will come along.
Yeah.
And never settle. So in my mind, never settle down, settle up. But yeah, I think mom wants me to have kids already.
Akid, yeah. Akid.
Okay.
What mum doesn't want to have more grandkids?
Yeah. Sometimes, may I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
When did you and Rasha meet?
We met at work, funny enough. I think 2015.
How old were you guys?
Ooh, great question. It was 10 years ago. I must have been about 32, 33.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you guys get married?
But we were friends for years. We never dated.
Okay.
Yeah, we were best friends. She was dating, I was dating. I met her boyfriend, she met my girlfriends, and then things just changed. And then, you start to see someone a slightly different way. So we were dated for about a year before I proposed. And we got married in 2020 in COVID. We had a COVID wedding.
Oh.
Yeah. We had 9 people at our wedding. It was back in the UK. We got married in the UK. You weren't allowed to have more than a certain number of people. So we had social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's another reason why I know that, there's Lebanon, the Lebanese community. Imagine a girl getting married away from her friends and her family in a different country. She did that, and she did it during COVID without a big wedding.
Wow.
So that tells you everything you need to know about my wife.
Oh. I mean, I just met her for a few minutes, but she seems amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Sometimes you need to slow down to see what's truly important. Agree, disagree? Yeah. I need to slow down. Yeah.
What's important to you?
I need to sit with myself and think about what's important for me.
You've never done that before? Or sitting on a mountaintop?
Of course, I do that all the time. I have so many conversations with myself, but my mindset there is different.
Yeah.
How I feel here is different as well. Like there, you'd ask me, oh, what's important is to summit the mountain, to come back safely, to make, to have more of these climbs. But now, I think what's important is my career. My career is so important to me. And I want to make sure that I'm taking the right steps, right decisions. I want to make sure that my focus is in the right area. Because I tend to be pulled in so many different directions because I love sports so much.
Yeah.
And I tend to
do you say yes a lot to things?
I used to, not anymore.
Okay.
But I think I need to be more strategic with work. And so this is what's important for me now. Really, really excel at work and feel like I'm actually working through my potential. I don't feel like I'm working through my potential fully at the moment. And then also family. I would love to have a family in the next 5 years. So hopefully he finds his way.
The thing is, you're constantly on the move. You're always active, and I can feel that in your personality. You've got a very active sort of soul, and it's very difficult sometimes just to calm yourself down and just to focus on actually what matters the most, because you're constantly going from one thing to another, and you're pushing, and you have this drive inside you where you always want to achieve, you want to grow, you want to test, you want to push. But yet sometimes actually what you've passed was worth just sticking around for and enjoying.
Absolutely.
Do you give yourself those moments to sort of pat yourself on the back, to appreciate what you've done? Or are you the kind of person that's just relentless in their pursuit of what's coming next?
I can be a bit of both.
You're sitting on the fence a lot today, Nelly.
Really? You think so?
I'm just winding you up.
So I think I'm a bit of both. So like I was, I just went to go climb Makalu. And that was like supposed to be the climb of the year, the 5th highest peak in the world.
Yeah.
A week later, I went and climbed Kanchenjunga, the third highest peak in the world. And Amal was actually telling me, Amal, a common friend, was telling me that, Nelly, maybe you shouldn't do Kanchenjunga now. Let this achievement sink in. You know, you've made headlines.
Yeah.
Let people grasp this, because if you do Kanchenjunga, people won't be able to grasp this other one.
Yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I did the same thing with K2. After K2, 2 weeks later, I was in the Alps climbing the Matterhorn, and then I did Breithorn Traverse. I just felt like, oh, there's this fire in me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sit with that fire.
By the way, I'm pretending I know all these places that you're talking about.
Oh.
I have no idea.
I hope some of the listeners know. But I just find it hard to sit with that fire.
I'm with you.
But that fire, I want to know how to redirect. So I
Yeah.
come back and I'm really inspired, and there's this drive in me.
Yeah.
Redirect it to other things that
Yeah.
will create impact for the world.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do better with.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think work, family, and health.
Yeah.
Health is always important.
Of course. What is the success that you're looking for from a work perspective? Because you've achieved the boxes when it comes to, you know, delivering, climbing, scaling, testing. But now from a business perspective,
Impact.
what does that mean?
I want to change the world through sports. I really do.
How would you do that?
I guess we'll find out. This is what I need to find out. I felt like I understood that with Move.
Yeah.
Move really created noise, and it really inspired a lot of people and enabled a lot of people across the kingdom and beyond to move. And I just started that and then ended it within like a few years. And so my mind keeps going back.
Yeah.
What could it have been?
Unfinished
What could
business.
it be? Yeah, unfinished business. And so
We've got to finish that business, man. We've got to do it.
maybe it's Move, maybe it's a different scheme or format, but
Yeah.
I do really feel like I want to change the world through sports, because sports unites people, connects people, and it inspires people in a way that little else does.
Yeah. I've got two young boys.
Mm.
One of them's 3, one of them's 2. What would you recommend types of sports they get into at a young age?
Let them try and see what works.
Everything.
I would say get them to try.
It's going to be expensive. There's a lot of things to do.
It's worth it. It's worth the investment. I would say get them to try maybe football, but get them to try parkour.
Okay.
There's certain things like balance and agility and strength that,
Gymnastics is so
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
or parkour, like it's easier for them when they're at that age. Gymnastics.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you good at school? Were you top of your class at sports and everything, or?
There was barely any sports back in Saudi at the time.
Hmm.
But whenever we had the opportunity to engage in sports, my parents would enroll me in sports.
Would you want to play with the boys sometimes if there weren't girls playing?
Yeah, I think I'd play badminton with the boys, but then also our
Hmm.
schools were segregated after a certain point. But yeah, like in different phases in school, I remember like enrolling in swimming and I was the first, and then enrolling in basketball, I was the shortest.
Yeah.
It really affected my self-esteem, but I was pretty good at defense. And so I was like one of the
I
strongest.
can see
in
that
the team.
feistiness coming out in you. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And then what? Yeah, I loved being outdoors. And then for like the longest time, we didn't have sports,
Yeah.
so I just got chubby.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, I used to eat a lot of chips, but then I'd dance. I'd put YouTube and dance.
Okay. Very nice. How many balls do we have left?
Oh, sorry, 1 ball. No,
Oh,
2.
we got 2.
Okay, 2. Let's go. Okay. Would you rather dance in the rain, feel no pain, or hike across a plain?
Now,
Ooh.
before you answer. So this is they usually do this sort of, it's like a mental kind of health test to see where you're at. It's like a mental health checker. The usual one is, would you rather feel no pain, dance in the rain, or get on a plane? Okay, and depending on your answer will denote to a certain type of feeling that you have right now. But in your case, I changed the get on a plane to hike across a plane, which I thought was quite smart. So which of the 3 is it for you?
Dance in the rain.
Do you know what that means?
No.
It means that your state of mind right now is in a happy place. You're content. You're happy with how things are going, and you have this sense of freedom.
Always. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
And did it cry out to you immediately when you were reading it out? Dance in the rain, feel no pain, or hike across the plain?
Yeah, immediately, because I always dance. And when I'm climbing, I always dance in the snow and the wind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, guys, for those listening or watching, ask yourself the same question: would you rather feel no pain, get on a plane, or dance in the rain? And
What would you do?
right now, I really want to get on a plane for the simple reason I've You know when you live in Dubai for too long, I don't know if it's the same in Riyadh, I'm guessing maybe the same in Saudi, but you stay in a country for too long, you kind of get cabin fever. Yeah, I have cabin fever. So that's becoming right now my my overriding emotion. I need to go to somewhere else. But generally speaking, if you get on a plane, it means that you want to leave something. You want to escape somewhere. There's something in your life you're not quite happy about. And sort of giving yourself that distance will sort of help you. In my case, I just physically want to change my location. You know what I mean?
For like permanently?
No, just for holiday. I want to have some fun.
Okay. Are you traveling?
I'm going to be traveling soon, yeah, inshallah, in a couple of weeks.
Saudi Arabia, a change agent with energy or evolution at a slower pace? No.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia as a country,
Yeah.
is it a changed nation, right? It's at an incredible pace, or is it just slowly evolving?
A change agent with incredible energy. Insane. I mean, just 10 years ago, the country was completely different. I find it hard to believe every time I go back to Saudi how fast the country's changing. It's insane.
Mm.
Really, like it's not just the policies and all these things that are opening up across the country, but it's also the mindset and the energy in the city and the kingdom. We went from like not really having tourism.
Mm.
People are not allowed to visit Saudi. Not having entertainment. There was really nothing to do. Not much like to do apart from eating, going to restaurants that were also segregated. And so the energy was very, very
Even the
different.
malls, you have to go to different timing if you're a male or a female.
Absolutely. It's and then pretty much everything was like limited options.
Yeah.
You couldn't travel around Saudi. You wouldn't see diversity in the country. I mean, it always
Couldn't
had,
show skin if you're a female.
it always had this potential, but things were different back then. And then, like once the changes started coming, they fell through very quickly.
It's unbelievable what's been going on. In the last 3 or 4 years, the changes have been incredible.
And you have like the tourism landscape has so much potential, and they're really, really,
It's
really
beautiful. So, true story. 2019, I worked at a company that helped launch Saudi Tourism Authority to the world. So I was literally the first ever campaign that went global for Saudi. I was part of that team.
amazing.
So we did this sort of Where in the World campaign where we would show images in Piccadilly Circus and Times Square of these beautiful, like, deep blue, light blue oceans, greenery. And we did a Where in the World is this? And people would be guessing, oh, it's Mauritius or it's like, I don't know, Maldives. And it was Saudi. And we did the reveal of like, this is Saudi Arabia. And it was like, the whole world was like, what, seriously, you're crazy. But the whole idea of, the negative PR that Saudi has had for 50 plus odd years in the Western press to try and change that perception, it was incredibly difficult. But
Absolutely.
but it's starting, people who's going there now, they're starting to realize actually there is
Sure.
a different type of awareness now of what the country's about.
I remember a few years back, whenever I tell someone I live in Saudi, it was always like there was always a negative connotation to it.
Like, really?
And then
Yeah.
in the last like 2-3 years, I just Saudi is everywhere, and everyone wants to visit Saudi, and people want to move to Saudi, and so it's really, really impressive. They're really changing on every single level.
Yeah.
Not just tourism, sports.
Yeah.
Sports. Now they have so many sports events all across the kingdom.
They have the biggest sports star in the world, Ronaldo's there.
Yes.
I mean, that's something as well, to be
Of
fair.
course. And then they're just, doing so much to diversify the economy in a really short span of time.
Yeah.
And people are hungry.
Yeah.
The nation is quite young. People are really hungry for this change. So
Yeah.
it's just really, it's inspiring to see.
I mean, look, if you can be somehow part of that and help to grow that, because I know you're very proud of Saudi. You were obviously born and raised there.
Yeah.
You're pretty much most of your life. So Saudi is very. We've also got it obviously as part of your.
I mean, my mom
image.
is Saudi too.
Your mum is Saudi, so it's something that would you consider to work for the government in the sports capacity?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. Like, this is one of my big goals. Yeah, to work in policy for
Lovely.
sports. Yeah.
What would be the one thing if you were working as, let's say, hypothetically, you're the sports minister in Saudi Arabia, right? Right now, you can do one thing. What's the one thing that you would do?
I'd make the country more pedestrian friendly,
Very nice.
because you have to nudge people to move.
Yeah.
And so
Also,
first thing I would do
yeah.
is make it more pedestrian friendly, and then just Oh my God, I would do so many things.
I can see it in your head. I can see the list of all the things that you do, but you're absolutely right. Pedestrian friendly, it's difficult to walk in some of the places. Some bits aren't always joined up. It's car first, then sort of pedestrian second, if you like. But I think that's absolutely right. It will encourage a lot of movement.
They're doing that already.
Very
They've just launched the Sports Boulevard all across Riyadh. They're building the largest park. So they're really, really doing a lot to encourage movement and sports across the kingdom.
Tab, you know what? I know the guy. Let's have a phone call. We'll set it up.
That's it.
We'll get you and the Saudi ministry up and running together.
That's it.
Last bit of the show, Nelly. Normally, as I give my guest a chance to say anything that they want to say or ask anything they want to ask, it's a blank ball. So the power is yours.
What has this conversation left you feeling?
I love the insight around the complacency bit. That was, for me, that insight stood out a lot, where you kind of have to have a bit of fear to ground you. And I had never really thought about it from that perspective. So that's one insight. It's going to stay with me. Also, the fact of who you are, what you've achieved is incredible. You've got such a drive at such a young age, and you're doing what you've always meant to be doing. And you start up, you wanted to be a vet in the beginning, right? Then you did therapy. You were going to become a clinical psychologist, right? That was the plan. And then you sort of did a little bit of marketing or something, and then you sort of moved into sports. So you've kind of said, no, this is what I want to do. And then you've tried to amplify, going back to that word, as much as you can. So what's left to me is that you're a type of person that a lot of people look up to, but always feel that they can never be that kind of person. That you're just someone that they see from afar. There's someone they see on social media. It's not real. You haven't really gone through much, or you haven't gone through suffering, but you have gone through a lot of suffering. You have been going through a lot of personal adversity. So the conversation has left me with the hope that people will see that their dreams are achievable if you're willing to work hard and go after them. And of course, if you have the support of your family, that's a bonus as well.
And if you don't, surround yourself with people that will support you. Because who you surround yourself with is really, really important.
Yeah.
Who you surround yourself with will influence you, will inspire you, or bring you down.
Yeah.
And so surround yourself with people that scare you a bit, that inspire you, that intimidate you, because they'll push you.
100%. Look, I would love to know what's coming next for you. So do stay in touch. Okay. If you're managing to climb any other mountains in the future, don't call me. It's probably not going to come, but do keep us updated. And from a business perspective, look, I really hope you get to achieve what you want to achieve. With that focus that you have and what you've done from your climbing career and everything else, I think you're going to achieve it. But you need to make sure that you stop, reflect what's important to you, take that breath, and enjoy life. Don't be too much thinking about the next thing. I can say that because I'm a bit older than you, so it's okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the wise words. And then also I'll keep it in mind that with marriage, or if I meet someone, to ask myself that question of, can I see myself living with them? Is that enough?
Yeah. Without kids.
Without kids.
Yeah.
Without pets.
Without anything.
Okay.
Just you and them.
Okay.
And if you can do that, you're on to a winner. By the way, I do have someone in mind for you. I was actually being serious. So we'll talk off camera. You're like, batata.
Batata.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. Really.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'm so glad that this worked out, and good luck with all the future podcasts.
Thank you so much, and good luck for all those future mountains you're going to climb, both spiritually, mentally, and physically. All right, it's been a real pleasure. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, drop a comment, and see you soon on Luca's Inside Track.